This is the final XRP bear trap before we go off to all-time high for XRP. Folks, it's time to lock in. In this video, I'm going to take us through the timeline once again. We warned about this correction to the downside up until Liberation Day, April 2nd. We knew it was coming, and very fitting that we're actually going to have April Fool's Day right before, because this is absolutely faking out the retail traders and speculators and gamblers who are over-leveraged, new in this game, wondering what's going on. That's why you hit the subscribe notification bell and you stay up to date with us, where we provide real analysis. We got a program that is so dialed in. We are directly over the target. And I'm going to break this down here in today's video for you guys. Now, my apologies for not getting a video out yesterday. Been a busy weekend, but we're back. We're locked in, recording a video here in the truck with my slip real quick. But I'm in the middle of getting set up here on some exciting things in the works for you guys, okay? So let's get into it. Final XRP bear trap. And so basically, over the past couple of weeks, I've been warning about this downside pressure leading up until Liberation Day, basically this uncertainty. You heard it from Jerome Powell at the most recent Fed the FOMC meeting that was last month. The key theme was uncertainty. Well, now we're going to get some certainty after Liberation Day comes. We get to see the tariffs go into effect, and this trade war gets to go into the next phase. And basically, long story short, I think that the market's going to react positively after this, after they see that the world is not coming to an end. Now, here's where it gets interesting. I had pulled up on my chart the triple tap, and we did it back in December, where we triple tapped down at $2, 1, 2, 3. And then we did it again here in February and then into March. So basically twice down in February, we went down to $1.70. And I've been saying that that was the bottom. I know a lot of people are calling for way worse. And by the way, I've been watching over the past few days, and really this last week, this is when I get so bullish, is when the market doesn't even want to hear bullish talk. The market doesn't even want to hear it. If you're still optimistic, if you still got a smile on your face, the market doesn't even want to hear it. It's like my children who want to just throw a fit. I tell my daughter, we don't need to be mad about this. And she says, Daddy, I want to be mad. I want to cry. That's what my daughter does, right? And it's similar to the investor sentiment, and really not even investors, gamblers, speculators, and people who are just new to investing. They have the same mentality. It's like when fear overtakes the entire market, they don't even want to hear it. They just want to tune out all bullish talk, any talk about fundamentals, which continue to line up and be as great as ever. Nobody wants to hear it. They just want to tune out. That's exactly when I get bullish as ever, completely the opposite direction of the masses. All these people calling for XRP back down below $1, below $1.50. Now, there still is a potential possibility, and really it would come in this week, where we'd get hit with something, maybe a Black Monday style. You have Monday, Tuesday, and then Liberation Day is April 2nd on Wednesday. So we could definitely see one final wick down to $1.70. I think that $1.70 is the bottom that it is in, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if we do see one. But here's what I wanted to hone in on, what I was explaining with the triple tap. We triple tapped off of $2 back in December. We've done it here again. But what I noted to you guys is that when we did that triple tap in December, there was actually a fourth pullback. And the fourth pullback was the real fake out. And we were warning about this back in December too. The buy wall that's at $2 is holding so well. So back in December, we did a triple tap off of $2 or right below $2. And then the fourth and final one was the real fake out, where it came on down to about like 205. It was just below 210, where folks thought, okay, this one's it. It's going back below $2. All those people saying it was going back below $1. How'd that program work out when it just blasted off all the way up to $3.40 right after that, right? So the fourth pullback was a fake out that did not go down to $2. The fourth fake out pullback went right above $2, and that's exactly what we did yesterday. Go figure. Just like I was warning about. Triple tap, and I said, watch for the fourth pullback to be that fake out. Sure enough, yesterday, 205 on Coinbase. How low did it go on your exchange? Because on Coinbase, it went to 205. I haven't had time to check some of the other exchanges, but let me know how low it went yesterday on your exchange. And what you'll see is that $2 buy wall held, and actually people doing what I recommend for folks to do when you want to buy at $2. Maybe you place some of those orders right above $2, because that order book's gonna fill up. There's a massive amount of buy walls at $2, which is why we did not penetrate below $2 for a fourth time. So once again, triple tap in December, fourth pullback fake out, launch to 340. Same thing taking place right now. February 3rd, largest liquidation event in the history of crypto, XRP down to $1.70. Build back up. We pull back, triple tap off of $2, and then right now, that fourth and final fake out to 205. People get greedy. And really, it's people are getting greedy, wanting to scoop up more XRP, and people are letting that fear overtake them. And that's the broader market sentiment right now. Like I said, when everybody is in that bearish mindset, this is the end of the bull run's over. No, you just hold a bag of altcoins that are crap. You hold a bag of crap. There's a reason why XRP and some of our other utility cryptocurrencies have held up so well, and their momentum has been so strong. It's because they're actually solving a real problem. Once again, there's no reason to be bearish on utility cryptocurrencies that are made in America. No reason at all to be bearish on them right now. There's no fundamental reason why they should even be caught up in this, but it's just broader market manipulation. Let's hone in on this. Let's hone in on this timeline though, real quick, guys. So we get a pullback yesterday to 205, the fourth and final fake out pullback. Folks think that this is it. No, it's not. And we're about to reverse out of here. Maybe we do get one more liquidation. You better have your orders set because it's not going to last long. These people saying that we're going down below $1, that this is the end of the bull run, have no freaking idea what they're talking about. That's why they weren't calling for the market to come down into this liberation day. They got blindsided by this market correcting here to the downside. And so then they get scared, but then they get blindsided when we reverse and we pick back up out of this. And that's exactly what's going to take place. April 2nd, Liberation Day, that's Wednesday. So downside, maybe one last wick, something crazy could happen between now and then. And I think that this is going to be the last week of downside action. Okay. So this is the last week of downside action. Folks have no idea what's happening here. I recommend everybody listen to the Brett Baier interview with Elon Musk and Doge. Everybody listen to the All In podcast with Howard Lutnick, the Secretary of Commerce. And I'm in the middle of listening about halfway through with Scott Bessent in the All In podcast as well. These guys did a great job questioning Howard Lutnick and a great job here with the Scott Bessent interview that I'm listening to right now. They are, and see, people, they didn't realize how for real Trump was about all these things that he's enacting with the tariffs and all this. So it's an overreaction to the tariffs and this trade war. But then once folks realize and see the tariffs go into effect this week and wow, we can still actually survive, there's going to be a little disruption, but it's not going to be the end of the world. That's where we reverse out and that's where we go back up to the upside. Elon's mission is to cut $1 trillion. Howard Lutnick's mission is to raise $1 million. And all they have to do is sell, a million of those gold cards, and you're going to have $5 trillion of income coming in for the United States just off that deal alone. That's not including everything else that they're working on, but just off that gold card that President Trump has implemented. And I think that they've already sold 1,000. In day one, they sold 1,000. But if they sell 1 million of those, that's $5 trillion. And that's just one example of how they're going to raise $1 million. And then it's very easy to see how they're going to be able to cut $1 trillion. But what Scott Bessent was saying in this interview that I was just listening to is that for every, was it 200 or 300 billion of government cuts, basically government spending cuts, we will reduce the GDP by 1%. So he's saying how we basically don't want to rug pull all of the government spending at once because you'd see GDP just plummet. And I have this on my timeline too. Basically, at the end of April, we'll get the Q1 GDP report. Right now, the Atlanta Fed forecast is for GDP to be negative by over 2% in Q1 here. So we're expecting a bumpy road here. And Scott Bessent, Howard Lutnick, they've all been saying the same thing. Give us 6 to 12 months before this is Trump's economy. But I think that we recover in V-shape out of this rather quickly here shortly. So Elon Musk is going to cut $1 trillion. Howard Lutnick's going to raise $1 million. Scott Bessent, he's doing some great work as well too. But this is where I wanted to speak briefly on the last video I did, which was the gratis vendor. The idea that Ripple could give their services and basically offer themselves up to the United States government for free and create a private ledger for the United States government and our treasury while also giving some XRP to the treasury and our government for free. Now, I played a clip from the All In podcast with Howard Lutnick where Lutnick speaks directly to the gratis vendor. And that's what he's doing. And others like Elon or that's what Elon Musk is doing, where basically they're just offering their services to the government for free. So they don't have to go through the congressional oversight. They don't have to go through the formal process of getting vetted and all this. If they offer the services up for free, the government doesn't have to go through any of that. The president can just take that, and that's from Article 2 of the Constitution. So it's all constitutional, it's all proper, and this is exactly what I think a relationship between Ripple and the Treasury could look like. But I just wanted to briefly expand and elaborate because a lot of people are still confused about this. Oh, if Ripple creates a private ledger for the government, retail is going to get screwed. No, understand how this works. What Ripple would be building out for the private ledger for the United States government and our Treasury is messaging. That's all it is a messaging layer. And this is just what they're finding in with Elon and Doge. This is what Howard Lutnick's going to have to do as they roll out these gold cards and these different programs. And they've talked about these databases, how old they are. They've been trying to go away from paper since the early 2000s, and they've still failed. Now, they still have failed in their ability to move and get rid of paper documents. This is an effort that they've had for 25 years now, and they still haven't been able to do it. And so the private ledger that Ripple would create for the Treasury, all it's going to be is messaging. So the private ledger is for internal messaging, and then the interoperability with the public ledger is for when they need liquidity. When they want to issue a 50-year gold-backed bond on the XRP ledger, you can have internal messaging on the private ledger, but then you issue that asset and allow it to have interoperability to tap into the liquidity on the public XRP ledger. There won't be two prices of XRP on either one. And really all these private ledgers are, whether Ripple is building the private ledger for a central bank, another institution, or for a government, all it is a messaging layer, right? The best liquidity in the world doesn't happen behind walled gardens. The best liquidity in the world happens on an open, decentralized, and permissionless ledger like the XRP ledger. So that's the two distinct roles. And I just wanted to elaborate and expand on that because from my last video, people were really confused about that. And so I wanted to elaborate on that further. Private ledger is for messaging, internal messaging at the Treasury Department. Keep the records verified. I mean, if it's not going to be on XRP Ledger or Ripple's technology, it needs to be on some blockchain. It needs to be on some distributed ledger technology that speeds it up, makes it efficient, trackable, traceable, and easy to see where all the money was going. So that for once, our government could actually pass an audit. I know it's a crazy idea that our government would actually be able to pass an audit, but it has to be done. And I think that Ripple is in the best position to help the United States government because not only can they give their software, they could create that private ledger for messaging. They can also give their services. Basically, they could say, hey, we have a team of a dozen developers that we're just going to send over to set up shop in DC with Elon and Doge and Secretary of Commerce and Secretary of Treasury. Wherever you need us, here's a team of developers, and we can help you out for free. And then, oh, by the way, if you want some XRP too to help this process speed along, here's 1 billion XRP to get the party started. So they offer the private ledger for messaging. They offer their services by giving up developers to help integrate it. And then they offer up some XRP for free as well. If Ripple tries to charge $1 for these services, they have to go through the full process. And you're going to have the Bitcoin maxis coming and attacking. You're going to have everybody, freaking out. Oh, Trump's picking winners and losers. But if they give it up for free, it's full go, full send. So I just wanted to elaborate on that because that was from the Howard Lutnick interview. So private ledger is for internal messaging, public ledger for liquidity. This brings us up to April 7th, the week of April 7th. We're going to get the Fed meeting minutes from their last meeting. And what we're going to watch for in that one is to see how dovish they're going to start to get here. And what we were looking for last month, and it came through, was the Fed said that they were going to be ending or reducing. They're not ready to end it, but they're reducing the amount of quantitative tightening. Okay, so that was the bullish signal that we were looking for. We got it. Now we get the meeting minutes on April 7th or the week of April 7th, and we'll get to zone in and hone in a little bit more on where the Fed's sitting at. This brings us up till the next week. April 16th is when Ripple reply brief is due. Now we know that Ripple's going to drop their appeal. But what we're waiting for is for the SEC to submit to the judge a request for the judge to drop the injunction against Ripple. So it's kind of like a simultaneous deal, I think, or I believe that the injunction has to be dropped and then Ripple will drop their appeal. So that's kind of how the dominoes fall. It's like SEC writes into the judge and says, hey, we're going to drop our appeal and we would ask you to drop the injunction against Ripple. Judge Torres signs off on that. Ripple drops their appeal. That's this case is over in April. In April, it's over. I mean, there's a small chance that it could drag into the first part of May as far as just these dominoes falling. Like, for all intents and it's done. This case is over. It's just a matter of crossing the T's and dotting the I's, just like Stu said. So in April, the case ends, most likely, and then like officially. And a lot of people need to see that official headline. They don't believe it. They won't want to listen to me. They don't want to listen to Brad. They don't want to listen to Stu. President Trump could come out tomorrow and say that the case is over. People still wouldn't believe it. Okay. So that's going to be a big deal. When the official headline reads, when the official court document is signed off by Judge Torres, then people are officially going to believe. Paul Atkins also gets confirmed here in April. That's also going to happen too. Okay. So Ripple case is over. Paul Atkins gets confirmed. At the end of the month, April 30th is when we get Q1 GDP. We get to see the state of our economy. And that's going to be 1 week before the May 7th. May 6th and 7th is the next FOMC meeting. And the interest rate decision comes then as well too. So let's summarize. This is the last week of pain. This is the last week of the bear trap. This thing is about to bounce out of this thing and absolutely rip. And I can't wait. I cannot wait. I'm telling you right now, all these people that got way too bearish, they don't know what they're talking about. Like they don't understand how fluid this market really is and how much liquidity is still waiting to come into this asset class. They don't understand that there's already 6 trillion plus in money market funds waiting to be deployed. This is before we get to quantitative easing, money printer go burr, right? This is before we get to all of that. There's already 6 trillion parked on the sidelines and waiting to be invested into this asset class. And I listed off the bullish catalyst for XRP specifically with the case ending, Paul Atkins being confirmed. But I'm telling you that, in my opinion, looking at the chart setup from a technical standpoint, from a current event standpoint, and from a market sentiment psychology standpoint, this is exactly when you see just the quickest and nastiest reversals is when everybody can relax. Oh, okay, it's not the end of the world. The tariffs are not the end of the world. We will survive. That's what's going to happen this week into April, and we'll be off to the races. Okay. So please set your orders. If we do get that pullback, you're going to have your orders set. So set your limit orders on the exchanges. If you use Caleb and Brown, call up your broker, send them a message, get that order placed. We got to get the orders placed because if it comes, it's going to be quick. The bottom, I think, is already in at $1.70. And it looks like the buy wall at $2 is going to hold really well. But I'm not going to rule out that we go below $2 one more time. But remember what I said back in December. Triple tap. Fourth pullback was a fake out. We didn't go below $2. We reversed out of there up to $3.40. Same thing looks like it's happening right now. If we don't go below 205, it's played out exactly like I told you guys it would. $1.70 was the bottom. I've been saying that all this past month. I warned about downside pressure into Liberation Day. That's what came. I said, watch for the Fed to say that they're going to reduce quantitative tightening at the last meeting. That's exactly what happened. I said, watch for the fourth and final pullback. It's not going to go below $2. 205 yesterday. Now what you want comes next, and that's where we reverse out of this back up to the upside. And that's why I got the bear shirt on right here, because we're chilling, okay? I got the fire going. You want me to get you a little hot chalky? Get you a little hot chalky, a little coffee. Maybe I need to put a little something in your coffee, get you in a better mood. That rocket ship's still flying, baby. So strap in, folks. We're about to reverse out of here. This is the final XRP bear trap before XRP goes to all-time high. Please lock in. Please like this video. Share it out far and wide. God bless all of you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.